That's how I feel right now. I'm gonna give you a warning. I'm gonna cuss in this video. But first, let's listen to 1,000 Foot Crutch. Be somebody. Turn the volume up. It's a good song. You should listen to it. Anyway, we're gonna talk about Red Faction for the PlayStation 2, baby. Here's the thing, man. Look, back in like these PlayStation 2 days, you may have heard of this game called Halo. It had just come out on the Xbox, and all the game magazines. You know what they used to do back then. Oh, this new mascot game is coming out. It's a Mario killer. Oh, this is gonna slay Pokemon. Yeah, sure, okay. I always expected people to say that Red Faction was gonna be the Halo killer, but they never did. In point of fact, one of the reasons I'm making this video is because my homie, Aliana-chan, I love you. I'm not mad at you. I am mad at the journalistic web game blogosphere. And every video game reviewer was just like, Red Faction's kind of dumb. No, it's not interesting. 6 out of 10, it's playable. It's not a buggy mess, but it's not a good game. Everyone dumped on Red Faction. My homie, he's like, I never played Red Faction because when I worked at GameStop, it was in the bargain bin in like, a couple months for $5, so I figured it was a bad game. Damn! What? And he even said, I'm not surprised you like it. If it's a weird game, of course Tony likes it. Yeah, I know. I like weird games. I don't know what to tell you. Breath of Fire 5, Dragon Quarter, favorite game of all time. There you go. But Red Faction, baby. Like, okay. I just want to make this clear. It's 5 million degrees out here, and I have more bottles of ice to cool myself with. So if you hear, like, the crackling, it's because I'm sitting Indian style, and I have 2 bottles of ice pressed up against my groin and against my ankles, because that's a good way to stay cool out here. Okay? But Red Faction, dog. Okay, look. It's like Les Miserables in space. It's like the French Revolution on Mars or something, right? Like, because, you're a worker on Mars. You're the working class on Mars, right? But the entirety of Mars has become indoctrinated and controlled by, like, Leninism and Marxism. And the red planet is quite red, if you get what I'm saying. And, you play as, like a miner dude who, like, the worst working conditions possible. We're all supposed to share. We're all supposed to live together. Well, then how come the high-class elites are the ones eating lobster and not working? That's what happens. Look, communism usually works for a little while, but it never continues to work. And the only time I've ever seen communism like actually function in any way is in hippie communes back in the 1960s, and that doesn't work at a state level. It works at a self-governance level when you go off grid. That's the only time I've ever seen communism work long term, is when you have a small group of people, 60 people or something. It works then, and only when the state doesn't enforce it. So, like, I'm not trying to put a bunch of political opinions on you, but I'm American and I hate communism, so fuck you, okay? Get your commie red ass the fuck up out of here if you support it. Fuck you, okay? This is fucking America, bitch. And I think that's why I love Red Faction so much as an American, is because you're fucking communism up. They're blowing them motherfuckers up, dude, with their own weaponry. And at a thematic level, I just love that. That kicks ass, dude. The guns, most of them, they're your standard FPS fare. The thing that sells them, though, is the excellent graphics of, like the flame shooting out of the barrel of the assault rifle. One of my favorite assault rifles of all time is GoldenEye on the N64, just because the X-blast fire, coming out of the end of the barrel, it looks good. It feels satisfying to shoot a gun in the FPS. The gun kicks back really nicely. There's a strong, cracking sound when you fire a shot. Bullet impacts stun enemies in ways that feel satisfying. And, it sounds like a dumb thing to point out. Like, shooting the guns in the FPS has to be fun. I've played a couple where it's not, okay? Red Faction's guns are, design-wise, they're your atypical guns, but they're like the most satisfying iterations of those guns that I've ever used in an FPS. I love the way the guns feel and sound in Red Faction. Like way more than Halo, okay? Like, look, I love Halo too, but let's be honest, the assault rifle feels like an automatic staple gun. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm shooting an assault rifle at all. I was spraying a garden hose with like little needles in it or something. It doesn't feel like an assault rifle. But the things that truly makes Red Faction unique, like, everyone knows Crisis, right? The game where every single bullet can reshape the environment. If you shoot a tree enough times, you'll crack through it and the tree will fall down. Real-time physics of all the branches and leaves and everything. I still think even the first Crisis is a technological masterpiece of the fact that people coded something like that. But Red Faction did it first on the PlayStation 2 of all things. That's technologically very impressive to me. And not just the technology, but the incorporation of it into the level design and the way the game teaches you to, it's not a gimmick, it's the way you play the game. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, you can play the whole game and ignore this entire mechanic and be fine. Which, while that may be true, you'll also take 10 times longer to complete it and have a really bad time. Check this out. Like, when you start and it's time to rebel, it's time to go against the man. The game gives you two things to make it blatantly obvious. Your explosives are your most important resources in this game. Your rockets, your grenades, your C4 satchel, your plastic explosives, anything like that is dramatically useful, okay? You're walking on this upstairs area, and the little dude in your ear is like, oh, blah, 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 if you do this, gameplay hints while you're playing. It's that era of video games. It's when that started. But these are, like, actually helpful, because you'd be like, yo, look, there's a rocket launcher over there. Yo, man, look down there. You see that? You see on that organically formed stone bridge way down here in the caverns that we're in? You see they got like 2 platoons marching across it and a whole bunch of tanks, right? If you shoot the stone bridge at the 2 connecting points, the entire bridge disconnects. It doesn't float in the air. It disconnects and falls down into the ravine. And you do not have to deal with the contingent of tanks and the thousands of troops that you would otherwise have to fight. You can just get rid of them by blowing up the bridge. This is one of the first things the game teaches you that you can do. You control the environment like a freaking ninja and reshape it to suit your needs and the way you want to play the game. That's amazing. And the level design is big enough to allow you to do that in meaningful ways based on where the enemies are placed. It's phenomenal. It's perfect game design. Excuse me. Sorry, smoky in here. There's no wind. I'm sorry. But then there's something else that happens very soon after that. You come up to this door. It's locked. It needs a key card. Big, heavy metal door, retrofitted into these caverns type of deal. And if you look around, you can find a hidden weapons. In like Doom or something, finding the fake walls or finding where they get this extra stuff. You're not going to find this gun for another 2 levels or whatever. But if you find the secret room, you can get it now. Red Faction is so full of things like that, rewarding the player's curiosity and exploration of the level. And you have a choice at this door. You can either go off and fight like 50 dudes and go find the captain who has the key card, which is going to drain your health and your ammo. All your resources are going to be crap. Or, F that door. Why do I need to go through the door? What if I just blow out the wall around the door? Yeah, you can do that. You're not supposed to, but you are encouraged to do that. You're encouraged at first to be like, oh, well, like every other FPS game, well, go over here because I have to do this side quest to get the key card. No, you don't. Blow everything up. Blow it the fuck up. And that's really the name of the game. You conserve your explosives because you can control and manipulate and reshape the environment. And it's really cool the way it works because, technologically, code-wise, these walls are like 2 polygons, 2 triangles, making a big rectangle, right? But when an explosion occurs against destructible walls, it looks at like the size of the explosion, and then it will reshape an area around that explosion. So you're just like digging with explosives to like cut through walls, forge your own paths through things. And honestly, watch a speed run of it. That'll show you lots of that, man. And I mentioned that this game has some of the most satisfying guns of all time. It has my favorite flamethrower in any FPS. And I'm comparing that to Turok 2 Seeds of Evil on N64. That is a fantastic flamethrower. That is an awesome flamethrower. The flamethrower in Red Faction's better. And, there's 2 types of weapons that will sell me on an FPS is how good are the shotgun or the shotguns, and how good is the flamethrower. The flamethrower in Red Faction is salvation. It is so good. It's so satisfying. And I always get sad when I run out of ammo for it because it's just the best, man. Okay, now that all said, I think the coolest part of Red Faction is the fact that while, there's stages, there's levels, there's set pieces, they're all contiguous with each other. They're all physically connected to each other. There's no loading zones. There's no elevators taking you to another area. There's no mission complete HUD screen and then spawn into another level. The entire game, from the start point to the end, is one continuous line through a singular, massive super level. There are loading points only for the geomodding. That's the only thing that's ever unloaded when it's like, I'm in this other area. It unloads all the geomodding you did in the previous area. So, maybe be aware of that. There's not really a reason to backtrack, so it's not a big deal. But it's so cool. All the submarine and the freaking crazy ass vehicle sections. Which I love a good vehicle section. It's one of the reasons I love Halo so much. It has good vehicle sections. I love the vehicle sections in Red Faction. You always feel like you're, taking the machinery of the enemy and using it against them. which is something that you don't have in like a Modern Warfare or a Halo, because you have like the Marines versus the Covenant and they have their own technology. But tell me, what is the most satisfying thing to do in Halo but to steal one of their Banshees and rain hell on them from above? Isn't it awesome to take the enemy's technology and use it as a weapon against them? That's all you do in Red Faction. It's the best. It's the best, dude. Metal Gear Solid, same thing. Weapons procured on site, right? That's one of the reasons Metal Gear Solid feels so cool. At least I think so. But no, Red Faction is amazing. Fuck Marxism, fuck communism, first-person shooter. It takes a lot of hints from the greats like Half-Life 2 and all that, for like how to tell a story and all that, and for like tit for tat. I honestly believe that Red Faction could have been the most game-changing FPS. It was Crisis before Crisis. But all the gaming magazines, they really didn't give it a fair shake. I think the gaming magazines back then, when it came to FPSs, their big concern was the multiplayer. And I'll admit, multiplayer in Red Faction 1, did it even have it? Frankly, I don't even remember, because it must have not been that good or it didn't exist. Red Faction 2 had great multiplayer, though. It had awesome weapons for use in player versus player, and it was awesome. But I think that was like the big hit to an FPS back then, because the single player campaign is like, yeah, you play through it for a couple hours and it's done, and then you spend 100 hours destroying your friends in the multiplayer mode. That's what you do with an FPS. And the first Red Faction was admittedly kind of weak as far as that goes. I'll admit to that. But it has so many other brilliant, genius ideas, first of its kind in many ways. And built around the design of other fantastic first-person shooters that it has always baffled and irritated. Just driven me nuts. Like, why does no one remember Red Faction as this amazing, genius, highly creative, and memorable experience that it was? It's upsetting. And, your phone can emulate PS2 games these days, for crying out loud. I strongly, strongly encourage, if you want to see a genuinely unique first-person shooter campaign experience, I don't think you can get better than Red Faction. I think it's that good, honest to God. And I hope at least one of you checks it out. Seriously, it's... again, one of the main reasons we remember first-person shooters is the multiplayer. That's the thing we play the most, and that's what we remember the most. And I think it should stand out that of the very few first-person shooter campaigns that I still remember is the first 3 Halo games and Red Faction 1. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It is an amazing game. It wasn't given the kind of spotlight for the creative elements it had during its time, and it is simply not remembered anymore. And that's a disgrace. So, please, check out Red Faction. I actually think it's one of the greatest things you can play. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here making a freaking video about it, right? Anyway, thank y'all for listening. Appreciate your time. Hope y'all have a good one. And fuck communism. God bless. Later.